As the alien fleet got closer to Blue Haven, John made his decision. He wouldn't run anymore. It was time to face whatever was coming. John flew the black ship out of the dust cloud. He saw hundreds of alien ships waiting for him. They were all different shapes and sizes. John realized that many alien races had come together to find him. Suddenly, all the alien ships started talking to him at once. Their messages filled his screen. Some were angry, some were scared, and some were curious. But they all wanted the same thing, the black ship. John took a deep breath. He pressed a button to send a message to all the ships. "I want to talk," he said. "I'm not your enemy. Let's meet and discuss this." To John's surprise, the aliens agreed. They chose a nearby empty planet for the meeting. John landed the black ship there, and representatives from each alien race came out to meet him. As John stepped out of his ship, he felt nervous, but he remembered what he had learned about the ship's true purpose. He wasn't here to fight. He was here to make peace. John told the aliens everything he had learned. He told them about the ancient war and how the black ship was meant to bring people together. Some aliens didn't believe him. Others looked interested. Just as John was starting to feel hopeful, a new ship appeared in the sky. It was huge and looked very powerful. John's heart sank when he saw the writing on its side. It was from Earth. The Earth ship landed, and a group of humans came out. They looked angry. "That ship belongs to humanity," their leader said. "Hand it over now, or we'll take it by force." John couldn't believe it. His own people were threatening him. He tried to explain, but the Earth leader wouldn't listen. He ordered his soldiers to attack. As the Earth soldiers came towards him, John knew he had to act fast. He pulled out the key he had found in the ship. Without thinking, he pressed it. Suddenly, the black ship started to change. It grew bigger and bigger. Soon, it was as large as a city. John and all the aliens were inside it now. Inside the giant ship, everyone could understand each other. John realized the ship was translating for them. He used this chance to explain everything again. This time, everyone listened. The aliens and humans saw images of the ancient war. They learned about the ship's power and its real purpose. Slowly, they started to understand. The Earth leader looked ashamed. "We thought the ship would make us powerful," he said. "We didn't know it was meant for peace." One of the aliens stepped forward. "We all made the same mistake," it said. "We wanted the ship's power for ourselves, but now we see that it's meant to be shared." John felt relieved. It looked like there would be peace after all. But then the ship's alarms went off again. On the big screens, they saw a terrible sight. A huge army of evil aliens was attacking Earth. The aliens John had just made peace with looked scared. "Those are the destroyers," one said. "They attack weak planets and take them over. Your Earth is in danger." Without hesitating, John said, "We have to help them." To his surprise, all the aliens agreed. Even those who had been his enemies before were ready to fight for Earth. John used the ship's power to take them all to Earth quickly. When they got there, a big space battle had already started. The destroyers were winning. But now, John had friends from all over the galaxy. Together, they fought against the destroyers. The battle was hard, but in the end they won. Earth was saved. After the battle, humans and aliens celebrated together. They realized that they were stronger as friends than as enemies. John had brought them all together, just like the ancient aliens had hoped. From that day on, things changed. Earth joined a galactic alliance with the other aliens. John became a hero, not just to humans, but to the whole galaxy. And the black ship. It became a symbol of peace and friendship between all races. John knew his adventure wasn't over. In fact, it was just beginning. But now he wasn't alone. He had friends from every corner of the galaxy, ready to explore the universe together. A week after the alien ship arrived at the moon, Earth was ready, or at least as ready as it could be. New York City was chosen for the landing. Central Park was cleared. Soldiers stood guard around its edges. Scientists, doctors, and language experts waited nearby. At exactly noon, it happened. A bright light appeared in the sky. People gasped and pointed as a small ship, about the size of a bus, flew down from the big ship by the moon. The small ship landed softly on the grass. For a few minutes, nothing happened. The world watched and waited. Then, with a soft hiss, a door opened, and out they came. The aliens were not what anyone expected. They were tall, about 8 feet high. Their skin was a soft blue color. They had 4 arms and 3 big eyes. They walked on 2 legs, like humans. 5 aliens came out of the ship. They looked around calmly. One of them, who seemed to be the leader, stepped forward. Dr. Sarah Chen, who had first spotted their signal, was chosen to greet them. She walked towards the aliens, her heart beating fast. "Welcome to Earth," she said, trying to keep her voice steady. The alien leader looked at her. Then, to everyone's surprise, it spoke in perfect English. "Thank you for your welcome," it said. Its voice was deep and melodious. "We come in peace and friendship." A cheer went up from the crowd. Phones buzzed as people sent messages to friends and family. The aliens were friendly, and they could speak English. The alien explained that they had been watching Earth for a long time. They had learned our languages from our TV and radio signals. "We are the Zortans," the alien said. "We have traveled far to meet you." Over the next few hours, the aliens met with Earth's leaders. They showed amazing technology. They could make things float in the air. They had devices that could heal wounds instantly. But not everyone was happy. In a small apartment in Brooklyn, John Smith watched the news with a frown. "I don't trust them," he said to his wife. "Why are they really here? What do they want?" His wife, Maria, disagreed. "They seem nice," she said. "Think of all we could learn from them." Similar conversations happened all over the world. Some people were excited. Others were scared. Many were unsure. In India, young Priya watched the aliens on TV with wide eyes. "They're so beautiful," she said to her grandmother. Her grandmother nodded. "Yes, but remember, child, beauty is not everything. We must be careful." As night fell, the aliens returned to their ship. They promised to come back the next day. They wanted to learn more about Earth and its people. That night, no one could sleep. The world had changed. Humans were no longer alone in the universe. Dr. Chen sat in her hotel room, thinking about the day. She had touched an alien's hand. It had felt warm, almost like a human hand. But the alien was so different. How much could they really understand each other? In the White House, the President of the United States had an emergency meeting. "We need to be careful," he said. "The aliens seem friendly, but we need to protect our people, just in case." As the sun rose the next day, people lined up to see the aliens. Everyone wanted to be part of this historic moment. The alien ship gleamed in the morning light. It was a new day for Earth, a day full of possibilities and unknowns. No one knew what would happen next, but everyone agreed on one thing: nothing would ever be the same again. A month had passed since the Zortans landed on Earth. The world was still buzzing with excitement. Now it was time for humans and aliens to really get to know each other. The Zortans set up a cultural center in Central Park. It was a big, shiny building that seemed to change colors in the sunlight. People lined up for hours to visit. Inside, Dr. Sarah Chen watched as a Zortan named Zix tried to explain their writing system to a group of humans. Zix drew strange symbols in the air, and they hung there, glowing. "Our language is based on mathematics," Zix said. "Each symbol represents a number and an idea." A little boy raised his hand. "But how do you tell jokes?" he asked. Zix blinked all 3 of his eyes. "Jokes? What are jokes?" The humans looked at each other, then burst out laughing. Zix seemed confused, which made them laugh even more. Sarah smiled. These moments of misunderstanding were common, but they were also fun. They showed how different yet similar humans and Zortans could be. In another part of the center, a Zortan chef was trying Earth food for the first time. He picked up a slice of pizza, sniffed it, then put the whole thing in his mouth. His face turned a bright purple, the Zortan way of showing surprise. "This is incredible," he said, his voice muffled by the pizza. "What do you call this amazing dish?" "Oh, it's just pizza," said the human chef next to him. "Wait till you try ice cream." Meanwhile, in a lab nearby, human scientists watched in awe as a Zortan showed them a small device. It was no bigger than a cell phone, but it could clean polluted water instantly. This could solve so many problems on Earth, one scientist said, her eyes wide. The Zortan nodded. We are happy to share our technology, he said, but we also want to learn from you. Your art, your music, your stories, they are unique in the galaxy. That evening, in a concert hall, something amazing happened. A human orchestra played alongside Zortan musicians. The alien instruments made sounds no one had ever heard before. The music was strange but beautiful. By the end, there wasn't a dry eye in the house, human or alien. But not everything was easy. John Smith, who still didn't trust the aliens, started a group called Humans First. They protested outside the cultural center every day. We can't just give them everything. John shouted through a megaphone. What if they're planning to invade? Most people ignored him, but some listened. The government kept a close eye on the situation. Despite these challenges, friendships began to form between humans and Zortans. Sarah found herself spending more and more time with Zix. They talked about science, philosophy, and life on their different planets. One day, Zix asked Sarah a question that made her think. On our world, we don't have oceans, he said. Can you explain what it feels like to swim? Sarah thought for a moment. How could she describe something so basic, yet so magical? She decided to show instead of tell. The next day, Sarah took Zix to the beach. The Zortan looked at the vast ocean with all three eyes wide open. Slowly, cautiously, he stepped into the water. It's moving, he said, sounding both scared and excited. It's alive. Sarah laughed and splashed him gently. Zix jumped, then laughed too, a strange, melodious sound. As the sun set, Sarah and Zix sat on the beach. They talked about the differences between their worlds, but also the things they had in common, like curiosity and friendship. We thought we knew what aliens would be like, Sarah said. We thought wrong. You're so different from us, but also so similar. Zix nodded. We thought the same about you, he said. I'm glad we were wrong too. As the stars came out, stars that Zix's people had visited, human and alien sat side by side, no longer strangers, but friends. The cultural exchange was just beginning, and the future looked bright for both species. 3 months after the Zortans arrived, life on Earth had changed a lot. People were getting used to seeing aliens in the streets. Zortan technology was helping to solve many of Earth's problems. It seemed like a perfect friendship between two worlds. But then, everything changed. It was a normal Tuesday when the Zortan leader, Czar, called for a meeting with Earth's top leaders. Dr. Sarah Chin was there too, as the lead scientist working with the aliens. Czar looked nervous, which was strange for a Zortan. We have not been completely honest with you, he said. The room went quiet. Sarah felt her heart beat faster. Czar took a deep breath. We didn't come to Earth just to make friends. We need your help. Our planet is in danger. He explained that the Zortans were in a big war with another alien race called the Vraks. The Vraks were mean and wanted to take over the whole galaxy. We thought we could handle it alone, Czar said, but we were wrong. We're losing the war. That's why we came to Earth. We need your help to fight the Vraks. The room exploded with noise. People were shouting, asking questions all at once. Sarah couldn't believe it. The perfect aliens needed help. They were in a war. The President of the United States stood up. Why should we help you? He asked. This isn't our war. You lied to us. Czar looked sad. We were afraid, he said. We thought if we told you the truth right away, you wouldn't help us. We were wrong about that too. We're sorry. Outside the meeting room, news of the war spread fast. People were scared and angry. Some felt tricked by the Zortans. Others wanted to help. John Smith, the leader of Humans First, was on TV that night. See, he shouted, I told you we couldn't trust them. They'll bring their war here and get us all killed. But not everyone agreed. In India, Priya and her friends started a Help the Zortans group online. They've helped us so much, Priya said. Now it's our turn to help them. Sarah didn't know what to think. She found Zix, her Zorton friend, sitting alone in the park. "Why didn't you tell me?" she asked. Zix looked at her with all three eyes. "I wanted to," he said, "but I was scared. I thought you might hate me if you knew the truth. I was wrong. I'm sorry, Sarah." Sarah sat next to him. She was still upset, but she could see how sad Zix was. "Tell me about the Vraks," she said. "How bad are they?" Zix told her everything. The Vraks were scary. They didn't care about other living things. They destroyed whole planets. If they weren't stopped, they might come to Earth next. For the next week, Earth was in chaos. Some countries wanted to help the Zortons. Others said it was too dangerous. People argued in the streets. Sarah worked day and night, trying to understand the war and the Vraks. She talked to both humans and Zortons, trying to find a solution. One night, tired and worried, she looked up at the stars. Somewhere out there, a war was happening. A war that could come to Earth. What should they do? Then Sarah had an idea. Maybe humans and Zortons working together could find a way to stop the war without fighting. Maybe they could talk to the Vraks, understand why they were so angry. She ran to tell Zix and the human leaders about her idea. It was a long shot, but it was hope. As Sarah explained her plan, she realized something. Humans and Zortons had both been wrong about each other, but maybe together they could make things right. The big problem wasn't just the war. It was learning to trust each other, even when things were hard. As Sarah looked around the room at humans and aliens working together, she thought, maybe we can do this after all. After a week of heated debates, Earth made its decision. They would help the Zortons, but not by fighting. They would try Sarah's plan, to talk to the Vraks and find a peaceful solution. The Zortons were surprised. "Talk to the Vraks," Zar said. "We never thought of that. We were wrong to underestimate human creativity." A team was formed. It included Sarah, Zix, diplomats from Earth, and Zorton leaders. Their mission, to meet the Vraks and stop the war. As they prepared to leave Earth, crowds gathered to wish them luck. Even John Smith, who had been against the aliens, was there. "Be careful out there," he said to Sarah, "and good luck." The team boarded a Zorton ship. As Earth disappeared behind them, Sarah felt scared but excited. She had never left her planet before. Now she was going to meet another alien race. The journey took 2 weeks. During this time, humans and Zortons worked together to plan their meeting with the Vraks. They learned more about each other too. One day, Zix found Sarah looking sad. "What's wrong?" he asked. "I miss Earth," Sarah said. "I'm scared we might fail." Zix put one of his 4 hands on her shoulder. "Humans are amazing," he said. "You think of things we never imagined. If anyone can solve this, it's you." Finally, they reached Vraks space. A huge, dark ship appeared in front of them. It was the Vraks command ship. The team sent a message asking to talk. For hours, there was no answer. Then suddenly, a voice boomed through their ship. "We will meet you. Prepare to be boarded." Sarah's heart raced as the Vraks entered their ship. The aliens were big and looked angry. Their skin was red and they had sharp teeth. The leader of the Vraks looked at the humans with surprise. "What are these creatures?" he asked Zar. "These are humans," Zar said. "They come from a planet called Earth. They want to talk to you." The Vraks leader laughed. "Talk? We don't talk. We conquer." But Sarah stepped forward. She was scared, but she knew she had to try. "Why?" she asked. "Why do you need to conquer?" The Vraks leader looked shocked. No one had ever asked them that before. Sarah continued, "There must be a reason. Are you looking for a home? Resources. We might be able to help without war." For a moment, the Vraks leader was quiet. Then he said, "Our planet is dying. We need a new home." Now they were getting somewhere. Sarah looked at Zar. Could the Zortons help the Vraks find a new planet to live on? One that's not already occupied? Zar thought for a moment. "Yes," he said slowly. "We know of several planets that could support life. We never thought to offer them." The Vraks leader looked interested. "You would do this." Why? Because, Sarah said, working together is better than fighting. We can all learn from each other. To everyone's surprise, the Vrax leader nodded. Perhaps. We were wrong about you, he said. We thought everyone was an enemy. Maybe we can talk more about this idea. Over the next few days, humans, Zortans, and Vrax talked. They made plans for peace. It wasn't easy, and there were many arguments. But slowly, they found a way forward. As they headed back to Earth, Sarah couldn't believe what had happened. Humans, with their new way of thinking, had helped stop a galactic war. Zix came to sit next to her. You were right, he said. Talking was the answer. We thought war was the only way. We were wrong. Sarah smiled. We all thought we knew everything, she said. We were all wrong. But together we found the right answer. As Earth came into view, Sarah felt proud. Humans had stepped up in a big way. They had shown the galaxy that sometimes the best weapon is an open mind and a willingness to talk. The adventure wasn't over. There was still a lot of work to do. But now, 3 different species from 3 different worlds were ready to work together. And that was a great start. #We Thought Wrong, Part 6, A New Galaxy. 5 years had passed since the day humans helped stop the galactic war. The galaxy was a very different place now. Earth had become a member of the Galactic Alliance, a group of planets working together for peace. Humans were known across the stars as the species that brought peace through talking. Dr. Sarah Chen looked out the window of the space station. Ships from different alien races flew by. It was a sight she never thought she'd see. Still amazed, a voice asked. It was Zix, her Zortan friend. He had stayed on Earth as an ambassador. Sarah smiled. Every day, she said, we thought we knew what the galaxy was like. We were so wrong. They walked to a big meeting room. Leaders from Earth, Zortan, Vrax, and 10 other alien races were there. They were planning a galactic festival to celebrate 5 years of peace. John Smith was there too. The man who once didn't trust aliens was now working with them. Who would have thought? He said to Sarah, I was wrong about everything. As the meeting started, Sarah thought about how much had changed. Humans were now space travelers. They had colonies on Mars and were exploring beyond. But it wasn't just humans who had changed. The Zortans had learned to be more open and honest. The Vrax had discovered that peace could be better than war. We need a theme for the festival, said the Vrax leader. He looked very different now, less angry, more friendly. A young human girl raised her hand. It was Priya, now a student in the first ever galactic exchange program. How about We Thought Wrong? She suggested. It's what brought us all together. Everyone loved the idea. As they planned the festival, aliens and humans worked side by side. They shared ideas, told jokes, and solved problems together. After the meeting, Sarah took a walk in the space station's garden. Plants from different worlds grew together, creating new and beautiful things. It was just like the Alliance itself. Zix joined her. Remember when we first met? He asked. I was so nervous. I thought humans might be scary. Sarah laughed. And I thought aliens would be perfect and know everything, she said. We were both so wrong. They sat on a bench, looking at the stars. Each star could be a home to a new friend they hadn't met yet. You know, Zix said, on my world, we have a saying. The biggest room in the house is the room for improvement. Sarah nodded. We have a similar saying on Earth, she said. I guess some things are universal. As they talked, a group of children ran by. Human, Zortan, and Vrax kids all playing together. They were growing up in a galaxy at peace, where different species were friends. They'll never know how close we came to war, Sarah said. But they'll know the power of talking and understanding each other, Zix added. Later that night, Sarah sent a message back to Earth. She told them about the festival plans and the progress they were making. She ended the message with a thought. We once thought we were alone in the universe. Then we thought aliens would either be perfect friends or terrible enemies. We were wrong every time. But being wrong taught us the most important lesson. There's always more to learn, and everyone has something to teach. As Sarah looked out at the galaxy, she felt hopeful. Humans had brought something special to space, the idea that it's okay to be wrong sometimes, that making mistakes and learning from them could lead to wonderful things. The galaxy was big and full of surprises, but now, instead of being afraid of the unknown, everyone was excited to explore it together. Sarah smiled. The adventure was just beginning, and this time nobody was assuming they knew everything. They were ready to learn, grow, and be amazed by whatever they found next. In this new galaxy, being wrong wasn't a problem. It was the start of something wonderful.